Welcome to episode 1 of From Chump to Champ. So this week we're going to spend a good amount of time with the Garden of Kharid that just came out. I want to check a few of those things out. There's a few upgrades from that shop that I do want to touch on. Things like Quicksense, Everlasting Incense, and all that kind of stuff. Also, we are going to spend a bit of time checking out the other things because I do want to test out how the Anima stones are, the Thieving, and all that kind of stuff. Gonna try to hit a bunch of PVM. I don't know how much we'll get done this week, but we will see. Definitely gonna open with a little bit of Kerapac. And we'll see what we get. So let's get started, shall we? Welcome to episode 1 of From Chump to Champ. So the Garden of Kerapac came out today. I figured I'd talk a little bit about my thoughts on it. Overall, I think the idea behind it's really good. I like the idea of having to actually interact with the skills in order to get, your supplies. I think that's a good plan, just so long as it doesn't supremely increase the prep time to PVM. That is a major issue in my opinion for Ironman. I think it's kind of crazy. It feels like we have to start, like when you start getting to the end game, it feels like a full-time job just to enjoy a weekend. You know what I mean? But I think the setup had potential, but I think they made a whole lot of mistakes that I want to talk about. First and foremost, Scroll of Life. The Scroll of Life currently is only saving 1 seed. I think that is a major problem, it only saving 1 seed, because I'm planting 7 and I save 1. That kind of sucks. Number 2, the seed drop rates. I think they need to increase the rate of the drops, not so much the rate of how often they drop, but how many you get per drop. You look at Hellweir used to drop 80 to 100 lance times. Now he's only dropping 8 to 10 seeds. If you look at the scaling, if you do the 10x, it does not line up. It's about half of basically the herbs we were getting. Number 3, you're limited in the amount of points you can get. So far today, I've gotten about 18k. From my understanding, you can only get 25k points a day, so it's not like we're going to be able to knock out all of our unlocks that we want very quickly, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I think overall it's actually pretty decent. Like the idea behind it, I think with a few tweaks, it's gonna be really, really good. But we'll have to see if they make those tweaks. The other thing is this guy over here. He drops some Anima stones to buff your rune crafting, which is so nice. But it's super rare. Not really rare to get the drops, but you don't get them enough, and he's very, very aware, so you're going to end up getting caught a whole lot. So it doesn't really increase or decrease the amount of time we spend rune crafting. But yeah, I think overall it's decent. It has potential, but I think they made a lot of mistakes. So let's see if they fix those mistakes to make it not crappy. I did want to add one more thing on to what I was talking about. The last thing that I dislike about it is the skip a stage thing actually is kind of pointless from my understanding. The way I'm seeing it is the herbs only take an hour to grow. Awesome. But we still have to wait. The reason being is Green Fingers has an hour-long cooldown. So we have to wait for Green Fingers, even if we plant. We're still gonna have to wait for Green Fingers anyway, and by the time Green Fingers is up with the 80 minutes, all the plants will be done anyway, so it's kind of pointless to get that upgrade. So it'll probably be the last one that I do regardless. But yeah, Again, overall, it's a pretty decent update. Like, I like the idea. I think they screwed up a lot, so hopefully they can, we can get some tweaks made to this to make it really, really good. So it is the next day. Well, actually, it's the same day, but I have to reset. So I'm doing the next set of my 25k points. But I realized in the previous clip, I said something incorrect. When pickpocketing, that guy talked about how the success rate is kind of crappy. But it turns out you can get 100% success rate with all the best in slot buffs, including the aura. I forgot to use aura, and I did not use light form and crystal mask. So you can get 100% success rate there. Apparently it's pretty good. So I was wrong about that. I figured I should mention that in here. But again, I'm still not very excited about the rate of what it gives you for the Anima stones. I do wish those Anima stones were a little more common, but you know, hopefully it's something that gets fixed with drops and it gets added to tables and things like that nature. All right, 111 thieving. Let's go. So I thought I would do a little review of pickpocketing this guy, the Crux Equal Knight. He's the highest level pickpocketing guy for the Garden of Kharid. It's actually not that bad. I was using the max or clear max boosts, second highest tier aura with crystal mask, light form, and obviously the master camouflage outfit. I got around 750k XP an hour. I was not using sticky fingers, so that would boost it probably by like another 300k XP an hour. But the seeds aren't great. I mean, there's some decent seeds in here, but it's nothing to write home about. The Anima stones, again, nice little side benefit, but not really great. But yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as I initially thought. Because again, I wasn't doing it with the max boost, but with the boost is fairly AFK. You know, I can get up, walk away from my computer, and still be pickpocketing by the time I get back. But you do get caught every now and again. I think with the highest aura, you don't get caught at all, which would be nice. But I don't have that yet. But yeah, it's decent. So the last thing I did want to test with the Garden of Kharid is how the catalytic Anima stone reacts with the soul altar. So if we are reading this correctly, it should add a +2 per essence when we are crafting these. So there's 400 essences in order to get a 100 charge here. So there's 100 or 400 essences in here for 100 charge, which gives you 240 soul runes. Now, obviously, the meta is power burst and then craft, so we turn that for our 240 into 480. But if we use the Anima stones, we should end up using 400 of these, if it actually is per an essence, in order to turn that 480 into 1280. So let's see how that works out. I power burst, I craft. And it does not work the way we had hoped it would. So I was a little disappointed with how that ended up turning out. It looks like the way it works is instead of using the 400 per essence, you end up using another 100 for each per charge. And what that does is that adds an extra 200 soul runes onto your take. So you ended up with an extra 200 soul runes. So I end up with 680 instead of 480. I have 703 because I did an extra craft, but yeah, if it used it per an essence, I think it'd be a lot better. But unfortunately, it just doubles it just adds another 200. So I think the meta for the catalytic stones is probably going to be just using them at blood runes. So despite that, the catalytic Anima stone tooltip says it's +2 to your rune multiplier. The reason I thought it might be per an essence is because if you look at the Garden of Kharid, blog post, it says that it will increase the number of runes you obtain from each essence by 2. So if anyone was curious, that's why I wanted to test that. So I was browsing Reddit the other day and I saw a post talking about how poor the puzzle box upgrade was, and I have to say I completely disagree with it. It's definitely making these back bolt runs way faster with the double speed here of fletching them. The other thing is that not seeing the mobs show up when you are next to the tree is really, really nice, because there's been a few times where I've lost several potential bolts just because I have to surge away or something like that, which is, you know, a nice change. So I figured I'll start this episode with a very, very small amount of Kerapac. As I said in episode 0, I actually had started recording this series before, but I lost all the clips. So what I started the series working on is 120 Slayer. This is the last bit of my Slayer task for 120 Slayer. So right now I'm at 535 normal mode, 423 hard mode. I have most of the log done, just looking for the pet. I have 11 more kills left on this Slayer task. That's probably all I'm gonna do. But I figure with Kerapac being something that taught me a whole lot during the initial recordings, I'd just start off and talk about the improvements that I made at Kerapac. So the two big things that have helped me so far with Kerapac is, one, learning how to gear swap completely. So if you notice, I have all of my gear here on keybinds. Basically the way I handle the switches and the prayer swap is I just take my hand and put it on the keybind swaps and just roll my fingers through. And I should usually get entire swap either in 1 or 2 ticks. So it's really nice. Just going back to my magic, I'll put my pinky on 5, roll through, add a U key, and then I always hit the dash key as well. The reason I hit the dash key is because this is just the extra slot. If I'm changing gloves, or if I'm changing ammo slot, if I'm doing if I plan on doing a range mage slot switch or something like that, I'll use the U key, but I just get used to, or not the U key, the dash key. So I hit it just out of habit. So this keybind over here is always just empty, but I just roll my fingers through. That's how I've been handling a full gear swap. The other thing that Kerapac has definitely helped me with is made me realize the importance of target cycling, and I'll talk about that in the next clip. So as I said in the last clip, the other thing that Kerapac has definitely helped me with is understand the importance of using target cycle at the start of the kill. The reason I say it's so important is because you'll be able to get your smoke cloud and your first ability out a tick earlier. What that has let me do is charge up to my tsunami and fling out my tsunami before he slams his staff. Before, when I started the 120 Slayer grind, when I would get Node on Dragonkin tasks, my kill times are somewhere between like 150, 145 to 2 minutes. And then just rotation fixes down to like mid 130s to 140s ish. And then this change specifically helped me knock off a whole lot of time because the timing of it works out better. So I end up getting down to like the 120s to 130s instead. The way that I'll show you guys what that looks like. It's really, really nice because if you don't do that, you end up losing a few more ticks of potential to damage him, because if you tsunami, you end up when I was using a tsunami like that, I would get stunned before I started using target cycle. And I have to wait a couple ticks to be able to tsunami. So you lose a lot less damage uptime. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. So it's been a couple kills here. I keep screwing something up every time I do it. It's been a couple days since I've actually PVM'd, so I think my timing's a little bit off. But let me try this again to try to get the show you what I'm talking about. So select my spell here. Whoops, I already selected it that time. Turn on my prayers. I'll put on my planet feet swap. Search this corner. Sunshine, A-pot. And the second he starts to turn, I'll target cycle. There we go. Throw this on, and then G-Conk into Tsunami, and now I can walk under, staff spec, and tendrils. So mental note here, or well, PSA I guess, make sure you always double check your keybinds. So my swaps are all right here, but when I was doing my melee setup here, I didn't have my offhand bound to my offhand swap on this spot here, so I kept unequipping and kept like just main hand weapon using. I couldn't like use half my abilities and couldn't figure out what was going on because apparently I took that off. Make sure you don't do that. So this is the last kill of the task here. I guess I'll show you guys how I do a full Kerapac kill on normal mode. I gotta know it's normal mode, so it's not like the most impressive thing in the world, but yeah. So putting it all together. First, turn on your prayers. I think I might have screwed this up. So one thing about live commentary, I tend to make lots of mistakes. I will G-conk, and then I'll use this to figure out what I want to do next. So depending on his HP, I try to get the jump skip, and then I will double bleed here into G-conk, Omni Power, swap, asphyxiate, and then ABS spec, G-conk, walk under. Oops, I screwed that up. So this is actually a good thing that I screwed it up, because I can show you how I deal with fixing this. So now I have two abilities here. I will, and then I will Limitless and Double Thrush. Wait for my Adrenaline to come back. Zuck Overpower. Come under again. Oh wait, I forgot about that. And then here we go. So now I'll swap back to my mage setup and then Insight Fear. Need to reapply my Phone Bomb, Tsunami, swap spells, Staff Spec, Tendrils, Omni, and Wild Magic. And yeah, it's typically something like that. So typically what I try to do, if I don't get enough damage out, I will add a bleed rotation somewhere in there. If I didn't screw up the dodge, I probably would have gotten down to like the 120s there, but I got pretty lucky on crits. But that's typically something what it looks like. So the idea is I will do a FSOA rotation to start, and then I will time warp a Zerk rotation, and then I will, depending on HP, throw a couple bleeds, like a small bleed rotation with an easy K, and then I will end with a non-sunshined FSOA rotation. So even though I did hit 120 Slayer, I'm still grabbing Slayer tasks. The reason being is because obviously with the Slayer stand, you get the damage buff on certain bosses that are available for Slayer tasks. If you look at my prefer list here, I have Corrupted Creatures and Creatures of the Lost Grove, Abbey Demons, Dinosaurs, Nightmare Creatures, Soul Devs, and Dragons. So most of these bosses are on, or most of these monsters are on here specifically because they are bosses. Corrupted Creatures, obviously for keys for the Magister, Creatures of the Lost Grove. The reason I had these guys on here was because I was needing their stuff. I don't need them anymore, so I will remove them. Abbey Demons, just a good Slayer XP task. Dinosaurs lets me do Matriarchs, Nightmare Creatures, specifically for Souls and Bloods. Soul Devourers, same thing, to get Magister kills and things like that. Dragons, for ED2. I think what I'm going to do is swap this one here now for Ascension Creatures if I can get it. But every time I get a boss tag, or every time I try, what I try to do now, rather than just get XP, is just start trying to get boss tasks so I can quickly kill some bosses. So next task, Living Wyverns or Celestial Dragons. Not doing either of those, so I'll skip that. Let's try again, and we get, ooh, all right. So I get to pick my task. Is there any other thing that is a boss? I don't think there is. I think the other option that is a boss that I have is Aviancy or Daganoths. Ooh. So Daganoths will let me hit DKs. I still do need a DK log. Aviancy's is the other one that is a boss, but I already have that log, obviously, as I said in episode 0. So I think what I'm going to do actually is pick Daganoths, and then once I finish ED2, I'll remove the dragons and put Ascension Creatures. So let's go Daganoths, I guess. 281 Daganoths. All right, let's go do it. So I'm sitting here trying to decide what I want to do next. I have to take a little break for the day because I have some errands to run. but I'm trying to think about what I want to do next. So I do have the Daganoth task that I did just get, and then I also do have my Zuck Reaper for 4 Zucks. Now Zuck is a boss that I do want to grind a whole lot of. It is actually one of my next big grinds, as well as ED2 for Barge. The reason Zuck is on the list, early is because I want the Scripture of Full so I can start doing solo Solak. So I probably can do solo Solak right now, well, once I learn it, but the Scripture of Full is, you know, giga strong. It's arguably the next best book after the Grim, which is the Grim is what I really want. But the thing about Zuck is I wanted to wait until I got my Blessed Flask, specifically because I would like to use that Blessed Flask so I can use a Damage Familiar and not a Pack Yak to hold my extra Restore Flasks and things like that, especially with the change, which with the store is going to be way harder to get now. So I might do, what I'll probably be doing is hitting an hour of Zuck just to get my on penance, and then do whatever else for now. So with Zuck, I have 6 hard mode, 9 normal mode. I'm probably going to do my 100 normal mode first because normal mode is kind of boring, and I don't want that to be one of the last grinds I have left, to try to get my Scripture. And then Daganoth Kings, obviously for the Slayer task, the way I do Daganoth Kings, because I have most of the log done, I just need one more Archer's Ring, and I need the Rex Pet and the Supreme Pet. So what I tend to do is I use a Blood Reaver, and I just leave Prime alive so Prime keeps beating on me, and I will use a Mage set and a Melee set, and just switch between killing Rex and Supreme. So I'll show you guys what that looks like when I get to that task. But trying to decide what I want to do next, honestly, I will probably do an hour of Zuck and then go to Daganoth and show you guys both. But that's, I guess I'll just have this clip in here as I set up for both of them. So whatever I decide to do next, I do need some Reavers anyway, so I'm going to farm up some binding contracts here. I'll probably do DKs first, specifically because DKs are a little bit easier and a little more chill, but I need to farm up some binding contracts for that, so I'm going to take care of that first. I probably should talk about how it is that I do DKs. So I keep Prime alive. I mean, obviously I'm attacking you now, but I'm hitting it with melee, so it's all familiar damage that's coming out. When Rex spawns, I will G-Conk into Omnipower, because damage, and then Wild Magic if he's still alive, and then turn back onto Prime to get Adrenaline. And then once Supreme spawns, I will swap to my melee set. Fury, Overpower, and then Assault. This is just kind of what I keep doing, and then I'll just finish it off with basics again, and then go back to getting Adrenaline on Prime. Now, if my HP starts to fall, because sometimes that does happen, rather than praying Soul Split here, I will pray Protect from Magic, and then turn on Soul Split when I'm actually doing damage. But that's basically all there is to it, and not a whole lot going on here. Obviously, it is DKs, fairly easy to do anyway, so yeah, that's basically all there is to it. Right, Warrior's Ring, that's not very useful, but we'll go with it. Right, Dragon Hatchet again. Alright, another Berserker's Ring. Alright, that's another Berserker's Ring. And 102 Prayer. Alright, another Warrior's Ring. Again, that's not very useful. Really hope I get that Archer's Ring soon. Dragon Hatchet. Let's go. Another Dragon Hatchet. That could have been my Archer's Ring. And we get ourselves another Warrior's Ring. Why? Another Dragon Hatchet. I don't think I'm gonna get my Archer's Ring on this task, but oh well. So, working on a Dark Beast here, specifically for another video, but I just hit 104 ranged. I should give an update here with how I'm doing this week with the Garden of Kharid, or Kharid. I don't know how to say it. But we have the 3 plant power upgrades done and the incense upgrades done, as well as buckets all the way down. So I am able to start using incense for it more often. So that should help me with a few different things with the Golden Reaper grind. Alright, so did a couple of the events. Let's see what we get on these sacks. Some normal sacks. I get ooh, some good elks. Some more elks. And wyvern bones. No elks out of that one, but wyvern bones are good. And salamanders, like good tensile components. And will I get the core? No. No core. Feels bad. 112 Slayer, let's go! So I realized I said 112 Slayer, I meant 112 Thieving. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. Alright, so I finished up that Slayer task at Daganoth's. You know, obviously I got a few items here, but nothing really came from the log. Pulling up my log right here, we are at 4737 kills now. Still looking for that same exact thing. I need the ring and I need the 2 pets, but we didn't get anything. So, well, I did get a few items, obviously, but nothing for its log progress. Let's see what task we get next. And we get task, and we have Glaciers or Daganoths. I am going to pick Daganoths again, but I'm not going to do it. So I know in an earlier clip a couple days ago I said I wanted to do some Zuck, and I still do want to do Zuck, but I only have 7 minutes of charge left here. Obviously that is not enough for a Zuck run. So what I'm going to do is I think we're going to end the video here. I'm going to go pick up some more charge, and we are going to start with episode 2, starting with the Zuck run. Thanks for watching episode 1 from Chump to Champ. I know we didn't get a whole lot done this week. You know, we got a few Daganoth drops. I did a little bit of Kerapac, a little bit of Daganoths, and that's basically it. With the Garden of Kharid coming out this week, I did spend a whole lot of time with that. We got a few of our upgrades, still need a couple more. Probably gonna finish all the ones that I want to do with instant growth potions tomorrow, and then go from there. But yeah, so next episode we're gonna start it with some Zuck runs, and then continue on, I guess. If you want to keep saying this, I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys again very soon.